So give us an example of one of the very small first speaking gigs that you did and how you found that opportunity for somebody who's really starting off from scratch. They're like, go start.
Yeah. Well, the easiest thing is really to just kind of like host events yourself. So I was starting a couple workshops here and there. A bunch of my friends, we would get together, and as we were kind of developing and beginning as speakers, we would host our own events and get in front and social proof. And then I just started posting a little bit on social media. And then some people would just randomly messaging me, or old clients would be like, "Hey, Rob, I saw that you do this, you do that. Would you be able to talk to this crowd or this people?" And yeah, so you got to kind of figure out what it is you do talk about and how can you connect it to broader audiences. For example, when I was first kind of getting things rolling, I talk a lot about leadership and personal development. My 6 principles for personal development is what I coach. That's what I do for my actual living. And somebody was like, "Hey, dude, I have this awesome opportunity for you to come in and speak to high school kids. Would you be interested in doing that?" And it's not too many entrepreneurs in high school, but a lot of the principles that I talk about are universal. So it was just slightly changing some of the approach so I can still be impactful. And the kids love it. They like the energy. They get to take home some stuff. They get some actionable things that they can do where they're feeling good. Then the teachers really like it. And if it's an auditorium type of situation, then you can talk to the parents and other people. So it's a great opportunity. It's all about being flexible and malleable with yourself. And I think that's carries over to one-on-one networking as well, because you want to be able to be malleable in conversations at different events where you still can connect with a lot of people.
Okay. Very interesting. And I like the point about getting together with some friends to host events because, doing it yourself can be
Yeah.
nervy. It's I might rent this room and nobody might show up, but at least if you've got some buddies and you're all contributing a few people to come along, you start with small steps. Have there been any sorts of speakers events that you've done recently that you have accepted the opportunity for, and earlier on you've had a really interesting experience and you thought, wow, I never thought I'd do that kind of a speaking gig?
Well, yeah, so the schools was pretty cool. And that kind of led to creating like a program for the younger kids. So now
Okay.
I'm going in and I'm actually teaching what I teach to other entrepreneurs, but I'm teaching it to middle schoolers now.
Okay.
So that was an interesting thing just to kind of like get in, and then now I can talk to the teachers and things, but I'm still teaching the same things, but being able to turn my coaching program into a kind of like a teaching program, I guess, for the kids. So it was like changing a lot of the exercises and things around to make it more fun for them. It was a cool and unique little thing for me there. But yeah, podcasting is a great thing as well. And then also hosting different kinds of events and going to different local businesses too. I've partnered up with a barbershop a few times. I've partnered up with a lot of the bars and restaurants. And these are opportunities that you might not normally think, but going in and bringing a small crowd of people to like restaurants or the barbershops and things like that, it helps those businesses create business. And then you have your business, you're showcasing your expertise, and you're still bringing everybody around so other people can kind of network and connect as well. So it's like kind of a win for everybody in having your own smaller events. A lot of people do think like hosting your events, they think like renting out large auditoriums or booking like hotels and things like that. But if you can be a little bit creative, you would be surprised on how many different opportunities there are to speak and connect with a lot of individuals.
So talk me through the barbershop example. How did you get that opportunity? What did you actually talk about? How did it work within? I'm trying to picture it in my mind.
Yeah, so it was a new barbershop that kind of opened up, and I started going in, and I was talking with a lot of the barbers there and the owner, and I just kind of continued to show up and give business. And then eventually I was like, "Hey, you guys got a great space here. I would love to do an event." And I was talking with the owner, and what ended up happening was got a bunch of people together, they come in, everybody got a haircut. I gave a talk on self-care and how that benefits entrepreneurs and how to take care of yourself so that you look good, you feel good, and you can do great things. So it was great because the barbershop got a lot of work from that. I got to talk on self-care, rest and reflection, and I talked about like journaling, gratitude, all these different things, and how it would be beneficial to the entrepreneurs. And everybody got a great haircut. Everyone was looking fresh, and the barbershop actually loved the idea of it. So they brought me back in for a second one because it's like a male grooming place. So
Yes.
I was hosting a challenge where everybody's kind of pushing their comfort zones through the month, like connecting with new people, doing cold plunges, types of things like that. So a lot of the guys came together for this event, and it was a surprise. Everybody got pedicures. So there's a lot of guys who are kind of pushed out of their comfort zones. They got that great experience. The barbershop got a lot of business from it, and I got another great opportunity from that because somebody was like, "Hey, man, this was awesome. I'd love to do something similar somewhere else." And from there, just created more business for everyone.
I love the idea that, something as simple as a haircut can be just seen as routine, mundane. Oh, I've just got to go and get the haircut on Sunday at 4 o'clock before it closes. But you've turned it into something that's directly linked to what you do, which is help people understand how important self-care is and how your outward appearance is to the success of your business and your own feelings of self-confidence, self-worth, and stuff like that. So, Vitaly, did they have their haircut while you were talking or before you were talking?
So they got their haircuts both times the services were going on while I was talking. So they had kind of like a big screen TV. So I was kind of up front and I had some slides, but I was walking up and down. I hired a videographer to come, and it was just great because they had multiple chairs. So people were getting their haircuts and they're all just kind of hanging out. And yeah, it was a really cool experience.
I mean, I did a talk, pre-COVID in a Pilates studio, and I remember thinking at the time, how's this going to work? But it worked out. So that's why I was like curious because I was mentally picturing it and wondering, because it's also, I guess, when you do a traditional speech in a traditional conference room or something like that, it's very, I don't know, static. It's like you sit in a row and people are, playing with the mints and you wait looking for direct eye contact. And this is would have been a challenge because it's like they're focused on other things, but they're also relaxed, but they're listening to you because when you're in a barbershop, they natter all the time anyway, don't they? It's all about talking and making that connection. So it would have been a challenge for you on one level to do, I'm going to talk. I'm going to get their attention, but they don't need to be eyeballing me for me to get their attention. I understand that they're intelligent people and they can do two things at once. They can get a haircut and they can be inspired by me. And I don't have to be thrown off by the fact that they're doing something else, because I guess sometimes we just do this whole thing of, are you listening to me? Like school style, like eyes on me or you're chucked out. So did you find that another level for you in terms of challenging your own speaking skills, or what sort of is the most interesting or up-leveling for you in terms of some of the locations or positions that you've put yourself in by choice to do a speech that's in a non-traditional setting?
Well, I think it was more fun. So it was a little more relaxed, and plus it was more intimate kind of a setting. So there were 8 barber chairs, so there was 8 people, and obviously the barbers and myself and the owner. So it was less than 25 people total. So it is a little bit easier to gain their attention, and I did sell tickets for that. So usually when people do pay a little bit more, then they pay attention a little bit more. But then I've also spoke at conferences with a couple hundred people, and yeah, you do kind of lose a little bit of the focus depending on what time of the day it is and on different parts of your story. So what I like to do is I like to now push myself different ways. So I'm trying to continue, like always trying to get better at everything I do. It's like one of my core values is progress towards mastery. So I'm always pushing. So I like to try to work in new things that are really challenging for me.